Hi, welcome to EDU 6375, Literacy Assessment and Interventions. My name is Brenda Fisher, and I will serve as the instructor for this course. I'm excited to have all of you in class again. I think most of you are familiar faces to me, so welcome back. And I'm excited about spending some time together again this semester. For many of you, this is the final course in the K-12 Reading Certificate program. And there's a reason that this course generally comes at the end, and that is because it's an opportunity for us to think about how we're going to assess students when it comes to literacy, and then what we're going to do with the information from those assessments. Now that we know where a student is at, what do we do with that information? How do we move them forward from where they're at? And so this course provides you an opportunity to take everything that you've learned, everything you know about good literacy instruction, and put it together with the assessment piece of that. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that this is, you'll find that this will be kind of an exciting course. On this slide are the big ideas that we will talk about in this course. We'll talk about some models and general principles of assessment, and then we will go specifically into a number of different types of assessment. You will have an opportunity to administer all of these different types of assessment and to look at the data that you get from those assessments and do some planning from those. So this really is a hands-on course, and it will give you a chance to really practice giving assessments, analyzing the results of the assessments, and then figuring out what do we do with that information now that we have it. And in whatever path you take with your K-12 reading license, or if you're just taking this course to learn more about reading assessment, it's vitally important that we know why we're assessing, how we're assessing, and that we are doing we're making the right decisions based on those assessments. There are two required texts for this course. The one on the left, Assessment for Reading Instruction, will serve as our kind of go-to text for the course. The Quality Reading Inventory 6 may be familiar to you. This is an actual assessment that you have perhaps used with students, but you will certainly get an opportunity to work with it. You will give this assessment to students, and then we will do some practicing then on what we do with the data that we get from those assessments. So this is an 8-week course. There are 8 lessons, and ironically enough, there are 8 assessments. So as most of the courses have gone in this program, and as you're familiar with, it's set up to have 1 lesson each week. However, for a couple of reasons, the way this course is set up is there are due dates, but you really can move through this course at your own pace. I know, like I said, for a variety of reasons I decided to do it this way. One of them is the nature of this course requires you to administer assessments to students, and that it varies when we're able to do that, and so there's some flexibility built in because of that. And also it's summer, and I know that many of you have vacations planned or you have things that are difficult to work around, and so there's a lot of flexibility in this particular course. You can move forward at the pace that works best for you, and hopefully that works out well. As I said, there are 8 assignments or assessments in the course. They're listed here. The first 2 assessments happen in Lesson 1. This is kind of the background information that we need to have, some of the base information that's important for us to know before we start administering assessments. Much of this will perhaps be a review for you, which is okay. But you also maybe haven't thought about some of these assessment principles in a while, so it's just a good refresher. And then you will be learning about different types of assessment, and as you learn about them, you will be practicing them. You will learn about them, and then you'll administer them to a student, and then do some analysis of that and make some decisions about instruction based on that. So as I said, it's flexible in that they need to happen in this order, but you can do that at the pace that works for you and for the students that you're working with. So as I've mentioned, you will be spending a fair bit of time working with students in this course. You have two different students that you need to work with. One of them is an elementary age student, kindergarten through grade 6, and the other student needs to be a secondary student, grades 7 through 12. I realize it's the summer and you don't maybe have direct access to the students that you work with. However, there's a ton of flexibility in who you work with. It can be, I don't recommend it be your own child just because the dynamics of that get a little difficult once in a while, but it can be a relative or a neighbor or someone who would like a little bit of extra help in reading. You're completely open to selecting that student, knowing that you're going to need to meet with them a few times. You'll see here that this will be about 20 hours total, but that includes the work that you will do in between sessions and the analysis and the write-up afterward. So you won't actually be spending the full 20 hours with those students, but you need to have access to a K-6 student and a 7-12 student. So please get going on that right away. Find a student at each of those age levels, and there's a permission form to have the parents sign that's up in Blackboard for you. Speaking of Blackboard, that again is how we will run this course, and you're perhaps familiar with this style, but each lesson has three elements: something for you to watch, some things for you to read, and then the assessments are listed below that. I try and put them in the right order of what needs to come first. For each lesson, there's a short video that explains kind of the big ideas for that particular lesson, as well as just goes through specifically what you need to do to complete the lesson. And again, when you're done with lesson 1, you can move on to lesson 2. My only concern with this is that please don't procrastinate, because it gets to be a lot at the end if you don't keep pace with what the due dates are. By the end of this course, these are the things that you should be able to do and you should be able to feel confident about doing. As I said, we're going to talk about different models of reading assessment, and you will be exposed to many different assessments that you can use with students. You will practice giving those assessments. You'll use that data to identify student strengths and weaknesses or goal areas for students. You will use that data to make instructional decisions about moving forward. You also will learn more about how to best communicate data with stakeholders, whether that's administrators or teachers or parents. Sometimes data can be overwhelming and we have to figure out how to best present that information to whomever it is that we're sharing that with. And you'll be able to, by the end of this course, select the appropriate tool that you need, and also select the next best instructional practice to take based on the information that you get from assessments. Please don't hesitate to contact me anytime you have questions. My email address and my cell phone number are there. Of course, they're on the syllabus and they're on Blackboard as well. But as I've said before, I would much rather have you contact me before you get frustrated than after you have spent time wondering what you're supposed to be doing or having questions that I could easily answer. So please, I mean this, don't hesitate to contact me anytime. I'm happy to hear from you. So I look forward to working with you this summer.